Right. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to another IG Live where we strive to give you guys value. Right. Every Friday we come on with different guests in different niches, um, different credibility and expertise with the sole purpose to come on and share their input, share their insight, right? Because we're trying to level up. We're trying to go to the next level. And each week when we come on, we have somebody in a different space. Maybe they're in real estate. Maybe they're in content creation, like this week. Maybe they're an entrepreneur, or maybe they're a musician, a creative of some sort. Regardless of the field, you're going to be able to walk away from each episode with some knowledge, with some insight that maybe you're not in that particular space, but you can walk away with the principles knowing that whatever they're dropping, whatever game they're dropping, you'll be able to apply it in your respective space, in your respective niche. So each week, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going live and dropping game. I'm really excited about who we're going to have on with us today. Matt Saavedra, he's a digital marketer, content creator, and he has a business. He's going to be dropping all kinds of insight, some inspo for us here today. So if you are on the fence about content creation, or maybe you have some hesitations, or you don't really know how to start or how to get started, then this episode is for you. So he's going to be jumping on here in a few moments here, and we're going to be going live. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time. Looking forward to it. See everybody tuning in. It's going to be a great episode where we're talking all things digital marketing and content creation. So I'm going to bring up Matt now, and we are going to get this thing popping. It's working. All right. So we'll just give Instagram a second. Okay, there we go. There it is. There it is. Matt Saavedra, what's happening, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just here in the office. Glad to be on. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. I'm rocking my Miami jersey today.
That's right. That's right. I respect it.
Yes, sir.
I'm a big Laker fan. Put my volume up a little bit. Big Laker fan, but I definitely got nothing but love for Miami. Jimmy.
Yeah, it's a big game. Actually, we're both playing today. We got the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big game for both of us.
Definitely. No, I have a good feeling we'll both close it out today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Buckets didn't have the greatest game last game, but he's going to do his thing today and finish it off, and hopefully the Lakers will do the same.
And they're in LA today, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a big day in LA. We got the Laker game, and then there's Dodgers and Padres, which has become like a big old thing now too. So
yeah,
a lot going down in LA today.
Ooh, excited! It's a good Friday.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be a good, exciting weekend, man. But glad you could come on, bro. It's been, each week we come on and we have different people in different niches and industries, and I'm excited about today because your expertise is content creation and digital marketing, and that's not just something you do like for fun. This is your trade. This is your business.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I jumped into a few years ago, and just I would say a lot of it has to do with just God's favor and the right doors opening. But I've been able to see like a lot of favor in the industry as do the due diligence, put in the work. You know what I mean? Treat people right, and then got some results from that.
There it is. And so, how long? I mean, you've been doing this for some time. You're not a novice in this space. How long have you been in the content creation, digital marketing space?
Yeah, so for me, I would say I got started in 2017, And so
Okay.
I'm not the guy that grew up with the camera in his hand and always wanted to do this. I've always had an interest, but I'm more like I had a lot of friends that did it. And so I had a lot of friends,
Okay.
and then being in church, you see a lot of creatives, and I saw kind of the whole with that was, a lot of people can be super creative, they're not good with people, and then
Yeah.
and so they're just like, I like to do my thing, I like to do my projects, I like to do it at my pace, and kind of like the whole creative process of it, which respect, but that doesn't work for clients. And so I kind of really saw that hole there, which was like, hey, like they're good, but they're not reliable. So if I could tap into this space, I know that I could find some type of success in that, And then I've had my own bad experiences, or even like the guy that filmed. I actually had two weddings. So my wife is Indian, so we had like an
Okay.
Asian American wedding, and then we had like a traditional Indian wedding, like not like Native American Indian, like from India,
Yeah.
India.
Yeah.
And so I had the same guy do video for both of my weddings, and he like lost all my footage. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah, so like that was just firsthand experience, the bad side of being a creative, you know what I mean? So that was kind of even more inspired me to just do good to people, customer relations, and take care of my clients, and just bring overall experience.
You saw the opportunity. You saw where there was lack, or you saw where maybe there was some good stuff, but you could add your flavor to it and take it to
Yeah.
another level. And I mean, since 2017, I mean, you definitely have seen some success come your way.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I guess I got off track a little bit. I went to school for video production. It was like a 6-month program. Don't have a bachelor's degree in it. Have an associate's, but that's about it.
Okay.
But went to that, and then right from there, I got opportunity. And I posted a video on it, but it was like selling a camera, and this guy was asking me a lot of questions, and I just kept answering questions. Trying to provide value, because just being a good person. And then he followed me on Instagram, and he was following my whole journey through school. And then I literally, the week I'm graduating, this guy like messaged me on Instagram, and he's just like, hey, like I have an opportunity for you. I see all that you're doing, with school and in church. He saw that I was super involved, and I was a life group leader. I was part of high school ministry team there in Victory Heights, Chino. And so he's like, I wanna bring you into my company. And so literally from day one, I had opportunity working for them. And then I went on to work for Victory Heights International at the corporate office. And then that's when I started like freelancing on the side. And then went from freelancing to really just launching a full-on agency. So now I have like, 6 team members, on my team. And so yeah, we're growing, and it's been good, man. Just God's good. That's all I can say. God's good.
That's cool. You bring up two important points. That you met the right person, and then you were balancing this with ministry. And just it was about a month ago or so that we were at a conference together at WealthCon, and something that I say a lot is that your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And I mean, just being in the right rooms, meeting the right people can present, amazing opportunities like the one that you just described.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's something I try to put myself in the right environments, just like you said. And so definitely WealthCon, it was more of a real estate focused thing, to my knowledge at first, but looking at like Ryan Pineda, some of the other people that are being there, like I follow them, I love their content, and so it's like if they're speaking, this is their event, like I want to be there, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And just like you said, we ran into each other there, but definitely was able to make some connections there and just learn a lot too. You know what I mean? Definitely got to keep positioning ourselves for growth.
No, that's true, that's real. And it's but just from that being there, those 2-3 days that we were there, man, that's just changed the game. As far as opening doors and different relationships. And so I'm looking forward to more events and more opportunities to connect with more people who, because it's even something just being in the same room with a group of people who are just going after it, who are, not settling for less, and who are, not living with the status quo, but say, you know what, there's more for life, and I'm gonna go after what's mine.
Yeah.
And just being in those environments is so crucial, so helpful for anybody. But then you also mentioned that you were working with Victory Outreach International, and then now you have your side. It's your not really a side business, but something you're doing as well.
Mhm.
So how has that been? You're in basically full-time ministry and full-time business owner, right? So
Yeah,
how's that? How's that work for you?
I'm still figuring that out to this day, but it's crazy how God works, you know what I mean? Just as you operate in obedience to him. So I remember when God put it on my heart to really launch my business.
Yeah.
And I was excited about it, but there wasn't a lot of people doing that, like in our ministry, you know what I mean? It was almost, sometimes it became like a negative thing, like, oh, like they're after money, or they're doing their own thing, they lost focus in church, and you would hear like some negative things, not just in our ministry, but in church overall, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of happens. And so I remember as I was praying about it, because like I'm a guy, like I wanted to be all in, like I served as UTC staff, I went through the training center, like I've devoted my life to serving God and in the ministry, honestly, for my whole 20s, and so it felt weird, it felt kind of wrong going into this season, like I want to focus on my business. And so as I began to pray on it, like the word that God gave me is that in this season, I need to be okay with being misunderstood. And so that was like the peace that God gave me when I stepped into it. I kept communication with my pastors and leaders, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where I feel like God is leading me. And they were all on board with it, but not everyone else in the church was. You know what I mean? There's different people, like, where's Matt? He missed this meeting, this and that, different little things like that started to happen. But it never really fazed me or never really bothered me, because like I was at peace with God and I was accountable with my pastors, so I just kept doing what I was doing. And then little did I realize, but like that will set me up for the opportunity to come be part of Third Wave LA, a new church launch, you know what I mean? Literally because of me focusing on, videography, content creation, my business, that, what I brought to the table opened up the door for me to come be a part of this new launch. So I thought what I was doing was pulling me away from ministry, but little did I realize what God was doing, he was setting me up for a whole new place in ministry. And so it just blows my mind, you know what I mean, what God is able to do. And so it's still a balance, still trying to do my best. There's weeks, not days, weeks where, it's a little heavier on work and I'm really kind of locked in there. But then there's weeks where, I'm more available for whatever needed for the church. And so it's trying to find that fine balance, because not only that, but married, have a wife, have a daughter. And so it's like a real balancing act right now, but I'm doing my best, and just really relying on God and just trying to apply myself as much as I can with like time management and different stuff like WealthCon, like, man, how can I optimize my time better? How can I be better for everyone around me and ultimately for God?
Man, you're saying some crucial stuff there, Mac. And I'm right there with you, man, because there's a number of times, people fear what they don't understand, right? And I remember when I first started serving God, I was in college. I was a college student, an engineer, and, my family, they're all about like, okay, doing well, doing successful, and doing well in school and all that stuff. But then when I started telling my family, like, hey, like I serve God now, like God comes first. And my dad was kind of like tripping, like, dude, yeah, that's cool, but don't forget, like, money first, kind of thing. And it wasn't until I told him, I was like, no, Dad, God first, like God's first. And he wasn't really feeling that. But years later, like maybe I don't know, like 5-6 years later, he would see the fruit of the decision and be like, oh, okay, well that makes sense, and I see why that was a good thing. And I think the same that's kind of true with what you were saying. Like you said that when you stepped out to do your business, that people didn't understand, or like, oh, what's what's Matt doing? And yeah, I experienced the same thing. And I think it's just, you said something crucial, which I think is truly important for anybody, is that you were accountable to your leaders.
Yeah.
And as long as, like, to those who are overseeing you and guiding you and leading you, as long as you're accountable to them and you have their support, because accountability brings support. And as long as you have that, then it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be okay and happy, or maybe they won't understand or even hate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when they begin to see the fruit of the progress, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your heart's right. You're doing it for God. I think it kind of finds people begin to see, like, oh, okay, and then maybe they can even expand their vision for, like, oh, maybe I could do something like that as well.
Yeah.
You know?
No, totally, man. And that's what when I was really praying on it, when the opportunity came for like Third Wave LA, I was like, like my thing is like, I just want to make an impact. I want to help as many people as I can and do as much as I can for people, because I really feel like that's what God called me to do. And so I began to think about, like, okay, like what better place to position myself, here at Third Wave LA, part of the base, to be able to make more connections, help more people. And I've seen it happen. A lot of people will have like conversations, hey Matt, I want to start a business, asking for advice and different stuff like that. People that, we don't come from that. A lot of Victory people,
Right.
we don't come from that entrepreneurship. Like, even for myself, sometimes I get like, what is it called? Kind of when you, what is it? Imposter syndrome.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, ever dealt with that? I deal with that sometimes, like, at least for myself, because like,
Talk about what's impossible. Break that down a little bit.
okay, so imposter syndrome is when you kind of get the feeling like you're fake, or you're not what you think you are, or you're not what people think you are, and kind of along that line. So now, like, I'm kind of perceived as like the entrepreneur, business, creative guy at Victory Outreach, along with a few others. But it's like, at the end of the day, like, I'm just Matt. You know what I mean? And that's how I can feel sometimes. Like, I'm Matt, and like, before I stepped into this, I was sweeping warehouses for $11 an hour, before in 2017, and didn't really have any plan or vision, for that. Like, I always had that feeling when I would be working like, retail jobs, or because that's the only type of jobs I had. I had like retail jobs and warehouse jobs, and I just always remember thinking like, I'm meant for more than this, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm like, man, am I just being prideful, or is it just like, what is it, But I just
Mm.
always knew I could do more, but I didn't have any experience. And so, like, I still to this day get imposter syndrome sometimes, where it's like, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just doing what I can, you know what I mean? And just taking a step forward. And then what kind of helps me with that is people, like we say, it's in form of discipleship. Discipleship is just being one step ahead of the person. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers. But as long as you're one step ahead, then you're able to disciple and work with people to get to where you're at. And so when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, I definitely don't have all the answers. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I have a lot to learn. But, I've made a few mistakes. I've done a few things right where I'm able to give some advice to someone that's just starting. Then it's like, I'm going to do it. I mean? Can't let imposter syndrome beat me.
That's powerful, bro. That's powerful. That's an inspiration, because it takes courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage and bravery, man, to step out into literally the unknown.
Yeah.
Like, stepping out. I mean, you said it. Like, you don't come from a business background. Neither do I.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of just have to have some faith and step out. And there's this other thing I like to say is, you kind of build the plane as you're flying it.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
like, but the crazy thing is as you step out and you begin to learn and understand, you're like, oh, okay, I get this. And then you step out again and like, oh, okay, I can see how this works. And now you're in a position, like you said, to help other people who are afraid of making that step. In a sense, you're like a trailblazer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because there's not, I feel just like you, man. I mean, people look at me as like this business entrepreneuring expert. I'm like, man, I'm just building the plane and flying it, and we're just seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Just going for it by faith and
Mhm.
learning as we go. But then at the same time too, like, we talk about WealthCon, um, like now surrounding yourself or connecting with people who have done something,
Yeah.
and even, like, I'm okay with letting somebody who maybe not be saved per se, but maybe they have some kind of credibility in whatever it is I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
Well, I'll hear from them because they're doing something
Yeah.
right. You can take the chicken and leave the bones, or take the watermelon and leave the seeds.
Yeah.
Whatever doesn't apply to the philosophy or the foundation that our lives are built on. Just take the good and leave the bad. But I think it's so important, to have some kind of mentor along the way. Discipleship is key, man. And so, dude, amen.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally, and I totally feel the same way. It's like kind of what we talked about a little bit, like surrounding yourself with the right people, and I'm grateful for the people. A lot of the people that have impacted my life, like in the business sense, they're not saved. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't serve God yet. But
I like that.
Yeah,
They don't serve God yet.
Yeah, not yet, but
good.
Yeah, for some of them. But they've made such a huge impact and just kind of open your eyes to things, and that's why like. I'm a very transparent person. Like I'll talk about, finances, different stuff like that, which makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But like if there's people that didn't talk about those things to me, like I wouldn't be able to realize like what's possible. Like I remember when I first started, like I was like, man, if I could make $5,000 a month, that's like $60,000 a year. That'll cover all my bills. Like I'm good. Like that's making good money. Like that's where my mind was at. Because I just thought so small.
Right.
I didn't know any better. And then as I started like talking to different people, different entrepreneurs, and he was like, yeah, like once I heard someone say I could make 10K a month, I was like, that's crazy. Like how do you make 10K? And then like I started getting to those levels, and then talking to other people. I made 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K a month, and it's just like I would think like, how is that even possible? Like, how do you do that? And then so you can't ask questions about things that you don't even know exist. You know what I mean? But as I begin to be around these people, like, okay, how do you make 25K a month? And he would break it down to me, and then I begin to understand, and then it becomes a lot less of what you do, but more about like the systems and the things you have around it and how and I began to see that, and I began to think like, man, it's possible. And so I was talking to one of the guys from my church the other day, and he was talking about, hey, I want to start a business doing this. And I was like, bro, like you can make 10K a month easily in that. And he was just like mind blowing. He's like, how? I'm like, okay, well, if you can put a package together for what you do for $2,500. If you get 4 of those, that's $10,000 a month. And he was just like, his mind was blown, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it's just what I've learned, and just what I've been around, in the same way that his mind was blown, my mind was blown at one point for that too, And so as you begin to like break things down for people, they begin to see like what's really possible.
Bro, so true. Like you can only grow to what you've been exposed to. That's why it's just you got to get in those rooms. You gotta get around people who are at another level.
Yeah.
There was man, it's crazy. You meet people who are just at another level. It's like, whoa, and you begin to sit next to them and hear their mindset. It's like, oh wow, like this is not as far-fetched as it seems.
Yeah.
Because now you have a direct connection to the person that's actually doing that thing and can break it down like you said, and you bring up something so important as far as when it comes to business. And I want to talk a little about content creation now, but one thing that I know is like people think they see me as a content creator, but I'm like, I guess so, but I consider myself a businessman that creates content and not really like an expert as far as that stuff. I mean, I do my best to have a measure of quality when it comes to what I'm doing, because if any business really wants to be relevant or get sales and all this stuff, you gotta be on social media.
Absolutely.
But one thing I know with you, it's like you're the opposite. You're like a content creator that's a businessman too, or that has a business.
Yeah.
So when we talk about content creation, I kind of have some strategies. I'm actually in the wealthy creator thing, so I got some insight coming my way. But what is your like creator process when it comes to maybe yourself or how you advise your clients? Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to content creation, like, again, this is probably like the boring answer, but it really just comes down to consistency. You know what I mean? Like, I did a video on this not so long ago too, and because everybody wants to create content, some people start and then they don't continue, but those that continue to put out content, and it doesn't even have to be good content, just putting out content, like, it's gonna get you results. You know what I mean? And like, it's really like a snowball effect too, because that's the crazy part where it's like, people will get discouraged because they'll put a video out and it'll have 200 views or 300 views, and like, oh, this isn't working. They'll put out 3 or 4 videos that have that many. This is not working. Maybe it's not for me. And then you have that one video, that gets you 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, a million views. And then not only do you have all those views on that video, but because you're having that much traction, Instagram, TikTok, they'll start pushing your other videos.
Right.
And so then now your other videos start to get traction. And so I've seen that where I had one video, and again, it's crazy because it's like, it's the things that you don't even think of. You know what I mean? So I post a lot of talking videos now, but I remember one time I posted like kind of like a little motivational video, but it was just like B-roll of iPhone footage and different stuff that I'd done. And then that video ended up getting like 1.2 million views. And it was and it was just something where like, okay, I haven't really posted it, but I need to be consistent. So I just put them together. I posted it. And then it got 1.2 million views. But not only that, but then like a lot of my videos around that started going up too. So wherever they were like kind of plateaued at, they started getting a couple hundred, some of them a couple thousand more views. And it just brought all my view count up all together. And so for me, I see just the main thing is consistency, but also like really it varies by niche and stuff like that. But when you have like, I've seen a lot of like testimonials or just another person like kind of co-signing for you and stuff like that, like for content, like I see that works a lot for people as well. So it's kind of like a mixture. Honestly, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to content. It's a constant like split test type of thing, kind of like if you're running like Facebook ads and stuff like that. Like you try different things, you try this, you try that. Okay, I saw this work. Let's do more of that. This doesn't work. And so it varies from like all my clients that I have. I'll have this video where I was like, this video is gonna go crazy. It's gonna get all kinds of views, and then it just bombs it. And then there's some videos where like, okay, well, I was focusing on this, but I got this one done too, and then that one takes off. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It's really just trial and error. Like there isn't like nothing too crazy. Like of course you could get into like how to structure your video, like with the hooks and like kind of that stuff. But I feel like a lot of people are putting that type of content out where like a lot of people are learning that. But if the main thing I could just say is just stay consistent. And when I say consistent, not like once a week, I'm talking like 3, 4, 5 times a week. You know what I mean? If you can do it volume wise, multiple times a day. And so I guess the strategy would be kind of position yourself in places to maximize content opportunity. You know what I mean? And so like for me, like I'll sit down, I'll shoot like 10, 20 videos at a time, like me talking head videos that I script out. But I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's not enough for what I want to do. So now it's like, okay, like maybe I need to step into podcasts. So I've been working on like trying to build out a podcast that I'm interviewing people. It's like one sit down interview, something like this, with cameras, like you could get 10, 15 short form videos from that, you know what I mean? Easily. And so boom. So if I do four podcasts a month, that's like 60 videos on its own, just like that. And then you mix in UGC stuff, you mix in like the talking head stuff I mix in some client work. Like before I know it, I have 100 videos that I could post a month. So that's where I'm trying to get to volume wise. It just, it's a progress. It's a process.
It's definitely a process, and to an extent, I feel you, man, because, I mean, the consistency is so key, so true. I mean, because even, people are so concerned about quality, as you do it, you get better.
Yeah.
I was actually looking through my feed, and I was looking back, I'm like, man, I really came a long way, from when I first started. It looks like all pixelated and dark and stuff, and it's like you can see the process, and but that's the same's true for everybody. And it's like, man, some stuff hits, some stuff that you put a bunch of work into won't. It's like, man, it's pretty, but you just got to keep doing it, keep doing it. And I actually I used to film my content each day that I was posting, and I was like, this is not it. Like, this is a lot. Like, I made a commitment, like, okay, I'm gonna get one piece of content out a day, and I know some are putting out maybe 3 to 4. So what I like, which, like you're saying, you put out 20, 30 videos in one take. That's what I'm kind of starting to do. Well, I'm doing it at a lighter level. I'm doing like all of my content for a week in one sitting.
Nice.
But I want to get to a level where I'm doing all my content for the month.
Yeah.
In one sitting. So that's kind of like what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, so that's the goal too. And then again, like, there'll be times where I'll sit down, I'll do 15, 20, and there'll be times where I sit down and I'll do 4 or 5. And so kind of just like throughout my day, or like on social media, I'll see something, I'm like, oh, this is a dope concept. And it's like, I don't steal the concept for what it is, but I'll take something that it meant something to me, and then like create my own video around that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get stuck on like, oh, I don't want to copy people, but it's like, and it's a universal thing. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. What's working for other people is going to work for you. So I'll take like pieces of what I've seen and just life experiences that I've had, and throughout the day as I'm thinking of things, you know what I mean? Like, just little things, and I'll write scripts based on that, like, later on. And I try to knock it out as much as I can. And then what I also did to help me with my process is I hired an editor who just edits my stuff. Yeah.
Writes all your copy?
No, just edits the videos.
Oh, so you don't even do your editing?
No, right. For my personal videos, I don't do them anymore. So I've worked with a few different editors, and I messed with a few different styles. Before it was like that basic Alex Hormozi style, different things. And now I kind of like created my own little style, and I kind of feel comfortable. It's a little busy, so I'm kind of like trying to simplify it a little bit still. But it works for me. You know what I mean? I like it. And so I'm again seeing what other people are doing and creating my own personal style from that. And so I worked with an editor. I actually have an editor in the 2 editors in the Philippines that work for me.
Yeah.
So I got some VAs, and then so I've kind of been working with them, and they'll give me some versions. I'm like, I don't like it. Let's tweak this, let's tweak that, and it's time finally find something I like. And we've just been pumping those out. So I'll just film them, upload them, and then they edit them from there. Because if I were to have to do everything myself, I would not be posting content, because I'm doing work for other people.
Yeah. You're busy creating content for others.
Yeah.
So that's good. So when it comes to your content creation, what's your tool set look like? What kind of, maybe somebody's just getting started, like let's talk about your tool set. Let's not talk about a starter kit. Let's talk about like the kind of equipment that you're using. What are you using to give your clients the quality of content that you're giving them?
So I definitely have been able to upgrade my gear over the years. So I shoot with a Sony A7S III, and so I have 2 of those, working on getting an FX3 as well. So I have like 3 total cameras, but I have a G Master 24-70, which is my everyday lens that I use, but I have a few different lenses with that. Have like Rode mics, have like a few of these like Shure like podcast mics. Have a few of these. Shure overhead mic, aperture lighting. So just kind of every scenario is a little different, but I use different stuff. I have this little light set up right here. Have some lighting behind me right now. So kind of just
nice
based on whatever the scenario is, what the need is. That's kind of what I'll use.
looks like we had a question. Somebody's asking, what's the best? How do you get your videos to your editor? What are you using? Maybe Google Drive or
Yeah, so
Dropbox?
I use Google Drive. I've used like Dropbox. I've used WeTransfer. And I've found Google Drive works the best for me, and it's the most user friendly. And so
Yeah,
that's where I'll upload all my stuff to.
that's what I've heard. I've heard Drop or Google Drive is a bit more universal, kind of
Yeah.
friendly to everybody, and it's kind of free for the most part. So, yeah, Google Drive, I would definitely recommend that as well. Well, for me, like I said, I'm not a content creator. I'm a businessman who creates content.
Yeah,
So I do everything on my phone,
that's right.
right? So I got a 14 Pro. I do my copy, and I film, edit it. I edit on my phone. I do that captions app on the phone, just auto generate that stuff, and it works. It works for me. But I think I'm getting to a point to where I'm gonna begin to outsource that a bit,
Mhm.
where I can definitely free up some more time. In my actual business, I use VAs too. So, like, if anybody's out there in business, check out VAs. That'll
Yeah.
definitely take up your efficiency and help you save on costs. So, when it comes to your clients, Matt, what does success or effectiveness for your clients look like for you? Like, what's the win?
So I guess there would be a win would go two ways. One would obviously be the main thing, which is results. You know what I mean? That they're getting whatever it is. So a lot of the clients that I've been kind of working with, either like sell something or are in like the recruitment space. You know what I mean? Whether it's, for example, I have a client right now that I'm working heavily with. They're a charter school, like a junior high
Okay.
charter school, and so they are sports and academics. So they're only in class for like 2 hours a day, and then they're speed training, they're lifting weights, they're on the baseball field, and so all these kids have like D1 scholarships, like they're 15,
Wow.
14 years old, insane. And so the school is trying to expand right now. So my job is to help them get more students. So we've been pushing out a lot of content, and they're seeing results. They're getting a lot of recruitment going.
Mm.
So that's one way I see success. And the second way, which is kind of goes back to what we first talked about, is like client experience. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Making sure like that's a win if they feel good, they feel confident working with me, they like working with me. So with me and my partner, I have a business partner. Her name is Lena. And so who you met at the
Oh
WildCon,
yeah.
and so like she's really great with organization and communication. So she's helping me grow in that area and with the clients. So then we do weekly calls with our clients. Kind of updates. This is where the projects are. This is where the growth is taking place. And so when we do those calls, a lot of times they'll say, we're so grateful for you guys, or man, you guys keep us so organized. We're all over the place because and I know that being a business owner, it's chaos sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
getting calls from this person, you're getting calls from that person, and you're like kind of all over the place. And you don't even know what day it is most of the time. and
Right.
so
Right.
and so if we're able to come in and solve a problem for our clients, which is social media marketing, which any business needs,
Right.
and we're able to take that off their hands where they don't have to worry about it, they don't have to worry about creating content, they don't have to worry about posting content, they don't have to worry about marketing, and they can just focus on whatever their business is.
Mm.
And so that is the win, definitely taking that weight off their shoulder and then feeling really good about it.
That's true. And then because if you like that business model is actually really dope because you get 10 clients, 20 clients at what, 2,000 a month. I mean, dude, like scaling is pretty, like not far fetched.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
And the word gets out about you too, right? Like I'm sure your clients refer others to you.
yeah. So it's crazy because I started a few months back, like kind of like a cold outreach program or like a DM campaign, having a VA reach out to people, and we actually had to stop it because we were getting so many referrals.
Wow.
And so like kind of like again going back to the beginning where it's like do good to people, treat people right, you know, get them results, give them a great experience, and then like they'll be your best salesman. And
Yeah.
so I've literally, before I started that DM campaign, I've never done any like really paid advertisement, no like really marketing for my own company, because the results we've been getting for clients have been able to bring us a lot of referrals.
Dang. So I think that's a little bit of God's favor too, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a lot of God's favor. Like I said in the beginning, like I would not be here without God. That's a lot of God's favor.
You know, things are going good when you have to stop the outreach.
Yeah. That's what it was crazy, because I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, like we have to stop the outreach program, because you know we're kind of at capacity right now, where it's like, okay, we had to bring on more people into our team, and kind of setting ourselves up for that, because it's like you said, like God's good. You know, a lot of opportunities happening.
That's what's up, man. Those are good problems. Those are good. So it's time to grow. Time to add some more mats to the team.
No, definitely, yeah, it is, and it's like that's always like a fear though too, like when it comes to growth, at least like here in the States, you know, because like
I feel you.
When I take someone on my team, it's like I feel I'm responsible for this person. Like, you know, I'm feeding, you know, whether if they have a family or they're just whatever the situation is, like I'm responsible to make sure they get paid. And so like there's always, it took me longer than it should have, because like it's just that fear, you know what I mean? Like if there's a bad month, if I lose all my clients, like I don't want to have to let them go or anything. I want to make sure they keep getting paid. But I guess that is kind of just a stepping out in faith and believing for God where things could really be, instead of in a good way, instead of where they can be in a bad way. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all stepping out in faith, little by little.
That's it. Stepping out by faith, building that plane as you fly it, man. That's how it is, you know. And we talk about efficiency and people management. You know, AI.
Yes.
That's disrupting every industry. Mm-hmm. You know, by trade, I'm a software developer, so I'm a coder.
Oh.
And, you know, I don't know if you've been tracking the news, but Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're laying off tens of thousands of people every month, you know, because now you got AI who can code for you and doing stuff. And, you know, I'm even using it right now. Like I'm putting together a weekly newsletter, and basically AI is putting it together for me. Like it's just taking all the content that I spit out during the week and making a newsletter from that. Awesome. So what do you use AI in any of your processes, or how do you see AI influencing the future of content creation or video marketing and this whole space?
Yeah, so I definitely think AI is going to be everything, you know, for content creation and going into the future. And some people, like I had a conversation recently, people were like, hey, how do you feel? Like AI is editing people's videos now, different stuff like that. And I'm like, I feel like it'll make my process a lot easier, but I don't think it's going to replace what we're doing. You know, it has its limitations. And even then, that's where like kind of like where I said, like, the whole client experience, you know what I mean? And so that is what AI will never be able to replace. But I see like there's I haven't started using it yet, but there's like AI that edits podcasts. So you could label, you know, the person speaking, and so it'll cut to them anytime it's talking. It'll pretty much cut the whole podcast up for you, which is awesome. It saves me a lot of time. It saves my team a lot of time, but then you still have to add that creative element, that storytelling, different things that, you know, AI just can't do yet. You know, maybe it will one day, I don't know. But there's a lot of ways to use, you know, I use ChatGPT all the time, or even for like when I want to send out emails sometimes, you know, follow-up emails, I'll have it write me a follow-up email, and then I'll just plug and play, like, you know, the names and stuff like that, customize it just to help me, you know, like I said, like I was working in warehouses before this, so like I don't have that experience, you know, and like formatting the proper email all the time. I'm learning now. But it definitely, if it's going to save me a lot of time and it's not something I love doing, then I'm going to utilize it. And so even like the features where I think it's I think it's more, it hasn't hit Zoom yet, but like Microsoft Meetings where it's like it's able to take notes for you and stuff like that. So I'm keeping my eye on a lot of features that may not be there yet, but once it gets there, I definitely want to utilize it to my workflow, you know?
Yeah, I've been seeing. I'm right there with you. I think it's not like AI is not taking over yet, but I think it's the people who are using AI.
Exactly.
The people who are using AI are going to be the front runners because, like you said, it's man taking your efficiency to another level. You're able to automate your processes. Like man, like my entire lead gen process is automated now through AI. It's great. I just got to put the content out there, and then like AI just kind of handles all my client bookings.
That's all.
And so it's yeah, people who are using AI are going to be kind of leading the way. So when it comes to content creation, let's say, for those who are listening, I've heard somebody say that content is the new oil. We think about people like Mr. Beast or even Ryan Reynolds, who had this big following and was able to, buy a cell phone company and sell it for like I think 2 billion,
Yeah.
and just basically just leveraging his influence. You see the same with people like Mr. Beast. So with that idea of content being the new oil, how necessary or important is it to you from your perspective that others get involved in content creation, social media, whether they're in business or even in ministry or in different facets of life? What's your take?
I think content's everything. Content is influence. So I like what you said there. How it's like the new oil. So I've heard that, and I've also heard how like it's like the new real estate in a sense as far as recession. So in the last recession back in 2008, those that as many people that struggled during the recession, a lot more people became millionaires that weren't before, and it
Right.
was just buying the properties. And so now, I guess it's still in a sense is real estate, but now it's digital space. So how much
Yeah.
real estate can you take up on the internet? And those are the
Mm,
people that are going to win because as we go into a recession, viewing is going to go up even more. People can't
right.
afford to go to the movies. They're not going to go to theme parks. They're not going to be going on vacations. But YouTube is free. Instagram is free. TikTok is free. So this is where people are going to be spending more time to
Yeah.
get their entertainment and to get something to draw their attention to because as the recession, it's going to be rough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're already in it. I'm experiencing it. Even some clients were like, had to, cancel services. So they're
Oh
cutting back
wow.
and they're facing difficulties, which I get, which I don't have a problem. But, that's why if you're able to just really be consistent with content, take up space on the internet, like you're positioning yourself to win. Because now thinking of like, for me, like my goal is to now get like brand deals and stuff like that. So I'm building my business.
Ah.
That's going. I'm hiring employees to start running things, and now I want to start getting brand deals. And so like I have a goal. I would say by the end of the next year is to make 6 figures on brand deals. And so
Wow, let's
because
go.
like a lot of companies they're not focusing so much on like the bigger influencers, the people with a lot of following, because you can have a big following but not have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
So, but when you have a smaller following, but you have a community, I guess that's the word. Would it be? I mean, there's a
Community.
difference between a community and a following. And so when you have a community of people around you and support what you're doing and believe in you, then if you
Mm.
say try to buy this from Amazon because like I would love it and it works and it benefits them, and then you get commission off of Amazon affiliates or different brands
Right.
will start reaching out to you, and so there's so much opportunity, in a financial sense to get with content and to be posting on it. And the beautiful thing about it is like it can be on whatever you want. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you don't have to be a business owner, and so like my wife, she's more consistent with content than me, like on
Oh,
TikTok, and
really?
yeah, she has like a great community for like new moms and stuff like that.
Oh,
Because that's her.
wow.
So she posts a lot of content on like fashion and mom stuff, and so it's totally relatable to a lot of women. you know, coming out of 2020 where everybody had babies, you know, COVID year, everyone's having babies. So there's a lot of new moms, and she's able to give a lot of advice. She has girls DMing her, and now brands are starting to reach out to her, you know what I mean? So she's seeing like success from that. And because she's just consistent, you know what I mean? She doesn't have, you know, she's had a few viral videos, but like she doesn't get a lot of views on every video. She doesn't like have a huge following, but she has a community. And like if you go to her TikTok, you'll be able to see that. And so if you build that community, you're going to be able to make more money. But also, to bring it back to spiritual, like we can really build our churches through social media more than ever. And we've seen that here in Third Wave LA. Like we have people that, hey, we saw you guys on Instagram. You were on our Explorer page. You know what I mean? And so we're putting out content. We're being intentional with it. We're treating it like, you know, like that is our tool of evangelism. Like I've heard someone say that, you know, social media is the new street corner. Yeah. Like, yes, we're going to continue to go outreach, you know what I mean? But there is no limit to the amount of people we could reach on the internet. You know what I mean? And with, like I said, with the recession coming, there's a lot of people that are going to be down. People dealing with depression, some people hopeless, and so this is opportunity through social media. We're able to spread hope. We're able to give the answer. We're able to give Jesus to people. You know what I mean? And then be that source of God to them. You know what I mean? Be that avenue, that channel that God uses through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or whatever it may be. And so those that are doing it, those are going to be the ones making the bigger impact, growing their churches. And so we got to do it. And especially like, even this is another kind of along that line. I know I don't want to say too long.
No, that's good.
Why I say like Instagram and social, really YouTube, is like we need to be pumping out content, because like I always say, like social media could be one of the biggest givers in our church. If we
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
If you're take it serious and you're posting videos, and I know right here in Third Wave LA, we're working on putting out music consistently. We did it when we started church, but we fell off. So many things going off, but we're trying to be consistent with that, because we know as our following grows, our YouTube grows, like, man, it could start being checks that we could just reinvest back into media or whatever to grow our outreach, you know, because we have a few videos that have, you know, 40, 50,000 views, you know, and on a new YouTube channel when we first started it, you know, so if we're consistent with it, like we can see, you know, a return on it, and then that can be our biggest giver.
Powerful, bro. No, that's 100%, man. Like, who can hold, you know, attentions? Like, who's holding the attention? And you know what you're saying with YouTube is so crucial. Like that'll pay itself back in dividends. And and the powerful thing about social media is, like, in a sense, like when you put something out there, it's almost like you're, I don't want to say immortalizing yourself, but like you're putting yourself out there. Like even if you're dead and gone, like that's there.
Yeah.
Like you can still be making an impact after you pass away.
Yeah, I know, it's true.
You know, and I love what you're saying about what your wife does, because, you know, when I think about content creation, people think like, oh, you got to be creative. And it's like, really, if you're doing anything in life where you're making some kind of difference, you're a creator. All you got to do is get in front of a camera and do what you're doing already.
Yeah.
Like just like you don't got to get good at something. Most of the people who are on this live or who are afraid of creating content, they're already they have some kind of expertise or some kind of proficiency or some area where they can provide value. Absolutely. Whether it's leadership, discipleship, or how to cook better, how to nurture a child. Like all of us, really everybody, for the most part, in one way or another, is in a position to provide value. And that's the kind of content that people want. And so, like, people, you know, what do you think about, you know, people who are hesitant about that? What are some things they can do right now? You know, we can come to an understanding that everybody has value. So what can they do to start putting that value out there and maximizing their impact.
It just comes down to simple, just do it. You know what I mean? And it's really, I would say, looking at it in a sense of taking ownership, you know, of what God has given you, what God has allowed you to go through, the good and the bad. You know, it doesn't, and that's where a lot of people get it wrong, where, you know, some people, about like transparency and stuff like that. So I'll use my wife, for example. So like, I remember after we had our daughter, you know, she kind of went through like a postpartum depression stage. You know what I mean? It got really bad, and like I didn't understand what was happening. I was a new father, and so she went through like real hard season. And so she posts videos about that sometimes, talking about the things that helped her. And so just the other day, she was telling me, she was on the phone, and then she got off. I was like, "Oh, who are you talking to?" And she's like, "Oh, I was talking to so and so." And then she said, because she saw my wife's video, like she wanted to talk to her because she's going through that right now. And so, you know what I mean? Our experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, are not just for us, our personal growth, but they're for other people as well. You know what I mean? And the best way to do that is through social media. And I know as I continue to post more content, like right now it's a lot of like tips and stuff like that, but I want to get more personal and different experiences, my failures and things that I wouldn't be where I'm at, you know, if I didn't fail. Like, failure has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. You know what I mean? And so as we post these things, be transparent in our passion and whatever it is, like, you are able to make an impact in people's life. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it comes back to the gospel. You know what I mean? Like, someone may not, you know, step into the church, you know what I mean? But like, we are the church to them.
Right.
And stuff like that. And so there's people that follow me on Instagram and well, really just Instagram mostly, for like content creation, business stuff. Well, you know, they're going to get that stuff, but they're going to get the gospel too. Like, I post at church. They know I'm a Christian. Like, this is who I am. And so if through social media we're able to make connections with people, you know what I mean, but then also show who we are, and then at the end of the day, like, it always comes down to people are like down, depressed, going through things. They'll see people that are happy, people that have good things going through for their life, and they'll want that. And so as people, you know, there's people that sometimes that DM me, research and reach out to me, and like things like they see the good things that are taking place in my life, but ultimately I always bring it back to God. I bring it back to the gospel, and it's literally because of Him. And so because of that, I'm able to share that with these people. And because, you know, they're here for content, but they're getting the gospel, they're getting Jesus, they're getting salvation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so as we post content, you know, anyone else that's doubting it, you know, post it. You have value. You have something to give people. You know, it may not be the prettiest, it may not be the best content, but you have, as you keep doing it, you grow in it, you get better. Mr. Beast talks about it. He's like, don't worry about growth until after you do 100 videos. You know, but each video that you post, make it a little bit better, and then once you hit 100 videos, you know, if you don't see growth, then come talk to me. But he's like, as you make things better and you do a consistency, the growth will come. You know what I mean? And as the growth come, you know, finances come, opportunity comes, but ultimately impact happens. You know what I mean? And so we need to do it.
So good. So good. Yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know who you're going to reach. I mean, I can think back, there was a time where I had been sitting on something for years, and I just came across some dude's post, literally changed my life, you know. And you never know. You never know what, you know, how we're going to help somebody. So, and the beautiful thing, Matt, just like you said, is we're all in a position to help somebody in some capacity through our experiences, through our messages. Our life is a message, and, you know, we're in a position to help people. So, man, good stuff. Really, really good stuff, Matt. But you have your digital marketing business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's that called, and how can people, let's say they need help with their content creation, or they're wanting to, you know, bring you on, how can they get in touch with you?
Definitely. So my DMs are always open. You know, you can reach out to me personally, or you can reach out to Strut Media Co. which is my company that me and my partner founded. You know what I mean? So we both had our own agencies before this. And so then we started collabing on projects because she was doing more social media management. I was doing content, so she would contract me on for projects. We worked well together. We had the same vision, the same heart. So ultimately, we just partnered together. And so you can reach out to us at Strut Media Co. You know, we work with all different types of industries, and shoot us a DM and we'll help you out.
There it is. There it is. Well, man, this was an awesome live, bro.
Yeah. No, man, that was a great time, great conversation. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this has been really good. And all the information, Matt's information, Strut Media's information, they're going to be tagged in this video. They're going to be in the comments and the description. So make sure to connect with Matt for all your content creation, digital marketing needs. Matt, any last thoughts before we end today?
No, I'm just grateful. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate all you're doing. You know what I mean? It feels good to see you as well as everything that you're doing as you're thriving, and like how we both said, like we felt certain ways, you know, like there's not a lot of people doing what we're doing, or we felt different, but it's good to have others like us. You know what I mean? Right. And I believe that it's just a start within our ministry. There's going to be many more that are going to come along and do bigger things than us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're just trailblazing right here and doing what we can and trying to make an impact.
There it is. There it is. Same, bro. Keep it up, man. Let's keep doing it. If I don't see you post for a few days, I'd be like, hey, Matt, what's up, bro?
Yeah. Get on me, man. I'll do the same for you. That ability.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, bro. So nice, man. Matt, thanks so much for jumping on. We'll be in touch. And guys, thanks for tuning in to this live. We'll be back next week again with somebody else, maybe in another space. But regardless, if you come on here, you're going to get some value, you're going to get some insight, and you're going to walk away at another level. So thanks again, Matt. Thanks, everybody, for taking the time to join us today. And we'll see you guys next time.